So this is Tariaq Podiati with SoloJourno.com. I'm here with Kathy Vey from the Toronto Star. She's a team editor of training and development. And we're going to chat a little bit about the series of workshops that was organized. So Kathy, can you tell us a little bit about the workshops that was organized with Rob Montgomery over the last 3 days?
Rob Montgomery is the head of visual editors, and it's a charitable organization run out of Chicago. He's a journalist, former print journalist who now travels the world teaching multimedia journalism. And this is a typical course of his. It's a 3-day event. We spent 1 day on writing for the web, another day on visual journalism, and today we're doing video journalism.
And what sort of response have you had?
It was sold out. We had about 50 people every day.
And actually, I think Monday might even have been as much as 75.
Really? I didn't do a head count, but we ran out of name tags, so that's entirely possible.
Well, what sort of breakdown was there? Some people attended from the Toronto Star, then you had freelancers.
We had people from a number of organizations. There were quite a few journalism instructors from Niagara College and places like that. There were people from Canadian Press. There were a lot of freelancers. We had about 10 people from in-house every day from the Toronto Star. I don't have the exact figures on who came from where.
Now, how did this whole thing come about?
It came about from Rob Montgomery. He approached us about it and asked if we would provide training space. And we said, sure, sounds like a great idea.
And you've been working with Roger Gillespie as well, the senior editor for training and development. Mm-hmm. And how is this going to integrate with the Toronto Star, this sort of training?
Well, we're already quite far down the road on multimedia training. We had an in-house program here called Star Next that ran for 1.5 years. It was started by Marissa Nelson. And it was a week-long boot camp where we took print reporters and introduced them to all aspects of working online. So
you tried to cycle a large number of staff through the program?
We put about 120 people through it, 3 at a time, a week-long boot camp. And it ended up being more of a consciousness-raising exercise because a lot of print journalists didn't have the time to produce video. It's a very labor-intensive thing.
What was sort of the reaction, the response from the journalists as they went through?
Oh, they had a great time. Yeah, I would say they thoroughly enjoyed it, but they also realized how much work was involved because it's a completely different medium.
So at least if they're not necessarily shooting video themselves, they have an idea of how it's done and they can write in that style, in that manner.
Well, they can also alert other people to when something is more of a visual story, when you actually might want a camera and an audio recorder there. Because some stories, let's face it, they are told better with video.
Now, yesterday, you and Roger did a presentation during the visual journalism at the beginning, mm-hmm. and it focused around what the Star has been actually doing, as well as the redesign. If you could talk a little bit about that.
Well, we're coming to grips with the fact that people get their news in a different way now. Not everybody wants a newspaper delivered to their doorstep. I like getting my news on my little iPod Touch device. So we have a Toronto Star application for that, and we've also tried to deal with the fact that people want their news updated as it comes. They don't want to wait for the next morning to read about it. They want it right now. So we've moved toward a continuous news desk at the Star rather than just having the one edition newspaper that comes. So we're constantly updating the web. It's manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And how do you think it's going, this sort of brave new world of news?
It's an adjustment, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, any startup is fun. It's going to take a while before we all accept it. I mean, it's still not second nature for a lot of our reporters to hold up their cell phone and take a picture of what event they're covering. But I think if you talk to any teenager these days, that's the first thing they do. If something cool happens in front of them, they take a picture.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Tari.